Hi guys, this is Mark Hundley and today is Thursday, April 16th and I'm live at 5. Right off the bat, I need to share with you just a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, yesterday I realized that the visual that I worked hard to put together for you didn't come across very well on the screen. So not long after I finished, I posted that visual on Facebook with a little bit of a summary associated with it. So if you'd like to go back and check yesterday's post, you'll find the visual and perhaps that can help you just a little bit. The second thing is I want to remind you that through tomorrow, so all day and all day tomorrow, all day today, and then all day tomorrow, my books and the 2 books that I've written plus the 6 pieces of short fiction are available for free download. So please go to Amazon, look me up, and you'll find that you can download those. I really invite you to do that. The Yoda Club. What the heck does that mean? Well, let me briefly talk with you about the Yoda Club. Many years ago, when I was in graduate school, in the counseling program at the University of North Texas, my favorite professor and mentor, Dr. Byron Medler, I took as many classes with him as I could, but he would always find ways to demonstrate new techniques, new approaches to counseling. And inevitably, I would volunteer to be a guinea pig. And it didn't really matter to me. I brought real stuff to the table. I didn't feel like I needed to make anything up. It was free therapy. Why not, right? And so I recall one particular exchange that took place over a couple of weeks. And he asked me a question, and I said, well, Byron, what I'm trying to do is, and I would explain to him what was on my agenda. And he would listen patiently, and he would look at me and say, and ask, and what are you doing? Well, and I would say, Byron, like I said, I'm trying to, and I would go through and explain what was on my agenda again. After about the second week, I got really frustrated, and I said, Byron, why in the world do you keep asking what am I doing? I've told you what I'm trying. And he said, I'm glad you finally asked. He said, Mark, trying is simply thinking about doing. When you are working at something, you're actually doing. And he said, trying takes time, effort, and energy processing in our brain the things that we would like to do. He said, but if we don't ever put them into action, all we're doing is thinking about them. And so from that point forward, it really struck with me. It hit me. And I said, I'm going to work really hard to eliminate try from my vocabulary. And very rarely now do I have the word try come out of my mouth. So I took that to heart. And in the process, I realized that I think Byron was borrowing from Yoda, because Yoda said, his favorite saying of mine anyway, is do or do not. There is no try. So you either do something or you don't. Many times when I'm working with students and they get stuck in that cycle of try, I'll have a pen on my desk and I'll toss the pen over to them and I'll say to them, try to pick up that pen. Well, they reach over, pick up the pen and give it back to me. And I say, thank you. I toss it back and say, try to pick up that pen. They look at me a little quizzically and they'll pick it up and give it back to me like, Mr. Hundley, are you bald or something? Is this a problem? And so after a little bit, I'll say, when are you going to do what I've asked you to do? And they look at me and they say, well, Mr. Hundley, I gave you the pen. I said, but what did I ask you to do? And they pause and they think a minute and they say, you told me to try to pick up the pen. I said, how do you try to pick up a pen? Do you elevate it with magic? Do you have some sort of telekinetic energy that you move a pen with? How do you pick up a pen? He said, well, how do you try to pick up a pen? He said, well, you either do or you don't. They get it. Trying to pick up a pen is pointless. We either pick it up or we don't. Think about that in life. Sometimes we say, well, I'm trying to love, or I'm trying to give, or I'm trying to be patient. Let's put it in real terms. If we follow the Yoda Club, if we follow what Dr. Medler said, we either love or we don't. We either forgive or we don't. We either communicate or we don't. We either demonstrate grace and mercy or we don't. You see, it's a choice. Either we do or we don't. Now, if we think and we process and we create plans, that's one thing. We have to do that. We have to generate those thoughts and ideas, but putting them into practice, putting something, working at something, putting that plan and putting feet to our plan, that's where the rubber hits the road. if I'm always working at something, if I'm saying I'm doing something and I'm really working at it, I can check my progress. It also helps me stay honest with myself. So I invite you to consider becoming a part of the Yoda Club. Adopt his motto, do or do not. There is no try, because really trying is just thinking about doing. We need more doers today who will demonstrate love and compassion and forgiveness and empathy. Do or do not. There is no try. Peace.